Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to Midweek Motivation
Yes.
with Angelica and I this afternoon. And it's so wonderful that you're tuned in, and we thank God that you're spending the afternoon with us, even if it is for just a few moments. It is so great to have you back. You've been taking a rest or a sabbatical for the last 2 weeks, but
I would say 3 weeks.
about 3 weeks, yeah. And we've had some incredible shows. We've had some incredible shows. We've been able to focus on our Treasures edition, I guess you can say, where we had Brother Fred Molina here just a few weeks ago. He was able to share a powerful, powerful testimony of how God was able to not only change his life, but also intervene in his marriage and also his children, and totally restore that entire family and really give them something to live for and to move forward for. And then last week we had a man and a woman from the home.
Nice.
We had Megan and Brother Harvey, and powerful testimonies, man. Powerful testimonies. And we had actually last week, let me just say this, we had one of our highest ratings was last week with Brother Harvey and Sister Megan with our Treasures edition. And remember, the whole reason why we did that was because we have some great things coming up in August, drive-in services, and I'm sure you're going to make mention of that in a few minutes. Okay. But we're just getting everybody ready and geared towards, winning souls. And souls can still be won during this shelter-in-place quarantine season.
Yes, they can.
And so, why don't you go ahead and let us know what's going on?
Yeah, so we have some great things coming up. We're first of all, I want to talk about our Wednesday nights, our new Wednesday nights.
Brand new Wednesday night service coming soon.
Taking place on September 2nd.
Yes.
And so what we're going to be doing is, I know we've been having Friday nights, I would say probably for the past 13 years, 14 years.
14 years of Friday night service. So,
we know that we're living in different times, and so we have to begin to, revamp, and begin to, shift things around. And so I came up with a great idea. And so. Yeah,
the reason, again, there's a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is because we know that during this time, what a perfect time to make this move. It's something that we actually always wanted to do, but we just couldn't find the facility to do it. Even where we were having church at the senior center, there was other people renting it on a Wednesday night. Yeah. And so we didn't want to shift and have a Wednesday here, a Sunday here, and a Sunday night there, and just really confuse the congregation. So we just kind of left things on a Friday night, and our Friday nights have worked. But now we feel during this season, we want to have a Wednesday night to kind of loosen up the weekends now.
Yeah.
So, Friday nights, you'll be getting your Friday nights back. Shout out to all the married couples. Shout out to all the leaders that are discipling. Shout out just to everybody, that'll be able to really go out of town and do everything you want to do without.
Some are going to have to detox, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to definitely have to detox on that one because, I just am. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a real great time for us to enjoy family, friends, fellowship, and also the disciples.
Yeah, and so that's so exciting. I'm very looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that. September 2nd.
Yes.
September 2nd. Tune in for more details.
Yes. And also a great thing taking place in August is we're having our summer nights. We will be doing something every Sunday night starting August 2nd. We will be doing a drive-in service once again at
at the Newark Pavilion.
The Newark Pavilion, yes. And so we'll be giving out more information on that. But every Sunday night, so that's 5 Sunday nights that we are going to be having a drive-in service.
Yeah, soul winning. We're going to be putting up a few posters around town. We're going to be taking over Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media platforms, and just letting everybody know, not only the church, because we do want the church there, obviously. We want to see you, we miss you, even though if you're just in the car with your family, no problem, but we just want to be able to see you. But not only that, we also want to be able to use that as a way to invite some friends and some family to come on out, get out of the house.
Summer night.
Right. Get out of the house, bring your family. It's a safe environment. Yeah. Yes. It is a very safe environment. And we have Roy De La Garza coming, right? We have comedian Dennis Gaxiola coming. We have, I believe it's
Miles
going to
Minnick.
be Miles Minnick coming.
We're going to have a night of worship.
A night of worship.
And then also, one thing I'm super excited about too is ambassador skaters.
Wow.
And so they're going to be bringing their ramps. They're going to be giving, we're going to have giveaways. And so that's a way to be able to still reach our community, with creativity.
Yeah.
And so we're all going to do that once again at the Newark Pavilion, and we'll be getting more information on that.
Powerful.
So.
Powerful. So stay tuned for that as well. And Run for Hope.
Run for Hope
Is coming up.
Hearts of Fire, where you at?
Ironman, don't stay hidden.
Wah, wah, wah.
Don't say that. Don't say that. So Victory Outreach Fremont, we know we have a huge, major goal. But the great thing about Run for Hope is that it's a united effort.
Yes.
So it's not just Victory Outreach Fremont against Victory Outreach Fremont.
Yeah.
And it's not just us against other churches, but it's all of us. It's all of us working together collaboratively from around the world to be able to win souls all around the world. You know that they're still planting churches.
Yeah.
People are still using drugs. People are still, using alcohol. Families are still, dysfunctional. And so it's our way of being able to raise money.
Yeah.
And to give it to Run for Hope. And it goes, every dime, every penny goes directly to the United We Can, so that we can make sure that we continue to keep these churches not only functioning, but also planting churches all around the world.
Yeah, and so there's going to be different ways to be a part.
Right.
We're going to be able to get creative. But one thing I know you could do is you could go on Victory Outreach, Run for Hope. You could look up Angelica Sanchez, and you can go ahead and register me.
She's good.
Today, okay?
Ooh, my God, you snuck that one in.
And you can't cut that out because we're live.
Yeah, we're live. You can't even edit that one out.
Yeah, you can't edit that.
But also, we also want you to register.
Yes.
Want you to register yourself. And as you register, you get a link, and you'll be able to send that to all your friends. And we know it's going to be a little different this year. It's going to be virtual Run for Hope. So what that means is we get closer to October 17th. I'm personally going to be jogging around Lake Elizabeth. And I'm going to somehow, some way film myself jogging. And those that have sponsored me will be able to know at least I'm doing something.
Yes.
Many are skating, right? We know that there's some little girls that are skating, young boys that are skating. I've already seen some of the pastors riding their bikes.
Yeah.
Now, one pastor, Pastor Hector from Victory Outreach Modesto, he rode all the way from Modesto to where? Like to Bakersfield? To Bakersfield. That is crazy, man. But he was on his bike already raising money for Run for Hope. And so all these creative ways of doing that. But the bottom line is register.
Angelica.
Or your pastor. And
wife.
Let's make a difference. Let's make a difference for God's honor and for God's glory.
Yeah, and then also a recap on, last Sunday night we had a multi-regional Victory Outreach San Jose. And I was on the recipient side.
Yeah.
We had a few girls over. We were able to watch the service, and let me tell you, it was powerful on my end. And I thank Pastor Tim for just reminding us. Don't forget about the call. Don't forget about what God has for us as a church, as Northern California, and reminding us of the unity that we do have and the partnership that's going to take place. But you also felt at the altar call, we were like, we were speaking in tongues.
Wow.
We were, all of us that were in there, and you've really felt the power of God.
And it's amazing, that everyone's separate, obviously. We're online, and you would really think that, how much can you really experience?
Yeah.
But that is one of the biggest lies, I think, of the enemy, is to minimize us online. Churches have been doing it for years. It's new. It's new to me, and I know it's new to most of the Victory Outreach churches.
Yeah.
But to be able to watch it and to be able to be a part of it, I was a part of the production, I guess you can say. I've seen that side of it, and it is a lot different being on that end. But you know what? You still feel connected. You still feel connected. They had video of pastors that are still getting buildings. Churches are still, during this time, can you believe that? Where it seems like we should be decreasing, actually God is bringing increase. And so pastors are getting their buildings. Cities are still approving buildings. Churches are still giving toward building funds, right? So I felt connected through that. Then how about that music that Victory Outreach San Jose had, man? We were so many people texted me, and they were like, wow, that is some awesome awesome music, how they have been able to collaborate and bring in people to really help them bring their music ministry to a whole nother level. So shout out to Pastor Tim, Sister Lucy, the entire pastoral staff there in San Jose, their media production team, their music team, just going above and beyond to really make their services felt, and feel the presence. So we felt it.
Yeah.
And then the word, like you said, Pastor Tim spoke an on-time word of really letting us know where is our faith.
Yeah, and I left inspired, I left challenged, I left encouraged.
Right.
And
then last night here in Victory Outreach Fremont, with our leadership, with our front row leadership, with our core leadership, with our life group leaders, ministry overseers, and also we even opened it up to the regional pastor. So many of them were on last night. And we had with us Pastor Elder Al Valdez, senior pastor from Victory Outreach San Diego. And he really just imparted into us last night. And what a powerful, powerful night, man. He just really shared with us his personal experience. He shared with us, his breakthroughs. He was able to share with us where the church in San Diego is at. And what amazes me, Angelica, is that, it was a leadership teaching and we talked about leadership, but it was mostly how leaders, all of us should be, getting more intimate with the Lord, right? About the presence of God.
And a lot of it confirmed what we've been preaching on, of spiritual warfare.
Right.
It is here, and I posted something recently where the armor of God is not for comfort.
My God.
He doesn't give us the armor for our comfort, but he gives us the armor because there's a combat. We're in combat. And so also with the flame, right? We're keepers of the flame.
Yeah.
So we talked about, keeping the flame and just other things, fasting and so many things that praying. He hit on. Confirmed.
And it was just really confirming for our church. Every pastor from the region that was on there last night with us, they texted and thanked us for, inviting them to be on. They got, notes. They were inspired as well. And once again, shout out Pastor Al, for making yourself available to our church. And we're definitely going to partner again with him in the near future. But that's where we're at right now in Victory Outreach Fremont. We are focusing right now on our leadership. We're focusing on our leadership because, around 4 months ago when all of this started, there was a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
We didn't appreciate that we weren't able to gather together. But at the same time, there was a lot of excitement, right?
Yeah.
What was the excitement? Wow, we're online now, right?
Online. One service, 10 a.m.
One service, 10 a.m. I know Victory Outreach Fremont was loving it. We've been in double services for 8 or 9 years,
and we recently had an 8:30.
8:30 and 10:30, my God. That's how dangerous we were. And so, with that, it was exciting. We had gotten 500 subscribers, it seems like, in a day, right? Like you guys were down here working it, and our subscribers now we have
about a couple of days to get 1,000.
Yeah,
and we
so
worked
now
hard
now we're over 1,000. Our new goal, and we're going to let you know real soon how you can be a part of it. We want to break 1,500 subscribers with Victory Outreach Fremont YouTube channel. But
what I like about the subscription is you're not just subscribing, but what happens is you get the updates or the reminder that either service is starting, midweek motivation starting, or anything that's being launched from Victory Outreach Fremont YouTube page. It gives you that reminder. And so it's
you'll be notified.
Cool. Yeah, you'll be
notified. So you're in the middle of doing something, and then that's right. It's almost time for midweek motivation, or the weekend service. Our new Wednesday night service coming soon. Yeah. So you'll be notified about that, and so those are great things when you get behind us in these areas, and so it was all exciting. It was all exciting because we thought it was only going to be a short period of time, right?
Well, that's what they said.
March, April. No, it was in March, April, and May. We thought for sure by June we would be back. We'd be back at church.
Or even Easter Sunday.
Or Easter Sunday, right. We were like, we're going back to church on Easter Sunday. And so, as we were there, it never happened. It never happened.
No.
And so now what I'm sensing, within the church is it feels like all the energy kind of has left now.
Why do you feel?
I feel that because we were sprinting. Everybody was sprinting, thinking.
We were forced to run fast, make quick decisions.
Right. All these exciting things were happening, even in your personal life, right? You were sharing it the other day. Man, I was making homemade tortillas, right? All these homemade meals.
Pozole,
I had all these.
barbacoa.
Oh my God, I know. Ooh, Jesus. And I was doing all these house projects. I was painting and doing, because we didn't know how much that window was going to be left. But now the reality has set in where we're back in shelter in place, if you will. And now it looks, well, we don't know when this thing is going to lift again.
Yeah.
So now we were running a 100-yard dash only to find out it was a marathon. And so a lot of energy was lost because we have, put a lot of energy at the front end of everything.
Yeah.
And so now we're kind of pivoting and recalibrating, and now it's hard to make that adjustment. It's hard to make that adjustment. And so...
Well, ask me if I'm still making tortillas.
Are you still making tortillas?
No way.
Homemade tortillas, right? And so...
Unless you ask me, I'll make them for you.
Yeah, so all that has changed.
Yes.
Right? All that has
now
changed.
Now reality has kicked in where, okay, the summer's here.
Yeah.
Kids
are home.
They're not going back to school in August.
They're not going back to school in
Sounds
August.
like now beginning of the year. So now reality's kicking in that this thing is going to extend more than we were told, we originally thought.
Right.
And it could possibly even go on another year.
So what tends to happen now is all the energy is lost. Reality sets in.
Yeah.
We're exhausted because we thought we were only running a 100-yard dash. Now we understand it's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Right? And now, psychologically, the kids are home. They've been home for 4 months. And now they may not go back to school until the beginning of the year. So now parents are now forced to possibly become teachers, right?
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to homeschool your children most likely. So all of that begins to work psychologically on you. And that's why people now, I feel, are being exhausted. They're tired. Yeah. Psychologically, emotionally, everybody is kind of just at a standstill.
Yeah. And so I know that there's going to be a few effects that is going to take place in the near future.
Right.
So maybe you could hit on a few of those effects that it's going to take place within the home, individually, our children.
Definitely.
So side effects, I guess you could say.
Definitely. So I think what's important for us to know is that we're in three different crises right now, right? One of the crises is obviously COVID-19, the plague, right? That is a crisis. The second one is that we are in a crisis of racism, right? Racism is a big thing right now.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this much racist unrest, I guess you can say, since the 60s. So we got COVID, we got racism, and we also have an economical problem now.
Which
crisis.
I feel we haven't even seen.
We haven't even felt it yet.
It.
No, we haven't even felt it yet, right?
The effects of it.
We haven't even felt it. So we haven't seen this economic danger crisis that we're in since the Great Depression in the early 1920s, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. So some of these things that we're going to see in the future that we haven't seen yet, only the church is the answer. Only those of us who are leaders and part of the body of Christ.
And we're the answer because...
We are the answer because...
Jesus Christ.
Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We're the answer because the government can't help us with this. Social things cannot help us with them. We can't depend on any outside thing to help us with this. The answer to these things I'm going to give us today is only found through the church. And why? Because of Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So one of the things moving forward in the future that we have not been able to see yet is marriages that are in trouble are going to be even in more trouble in the future. Okay, because just the way things have been, we mentioned the warfare, we mentioned more pressure, staying home now, the kids, money, everything. We are not able to do the things we used to do, right? We
or
can't.
maybe those that found themselves as families, their outlets were sports. You know, they had their kids in sports 24/7. You know,
Right. That was an outlet, though.
Yeah, their outlets were camping or whatever it might have been.
Right.
You know, golfing, which you could still kind of do, but some of these outlets have been cut off. So it's like, now who are we as a family now?
Well, yeah.
Because I don't have this or that.
And board games only, I feel, go so far. Then you start fighting on those things, right? Board games were good at the beginning, and I'm sure there are still puzzles and all that. But sometimes even the energy leaves out of that. And so, you know, going to the gym for mom or dad is not the same no more.
Like for you, that's part of your regimen.
It was a big part of my regimen, a big part of my schedule, a big part of my life, big part of, I would drop the kids off, right? You would get them ready, I would take them. I would go to the gym, and then we'd meet at the office, right? And start our day like that.
Yeah.
That has all been wiped away.
Yeah.
So that causes stress. That causes, you know, just a lot within the marriage. So even if even the most healthiest marriage is even being tested right now on all different levels. And so even those of us who may have already had some stresses in marriage, well, that's going to be now magnified.
Yeah. Because those that don't have those outlets, once again,
right,
they're going to possibly run to alcohol, drug abuse, watching things they're not supposed to be,
right,
so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah. And so that's why even shout out this Saturday, Angelica and I are going to be in Victory Outreach Santa Rosa for a marriage quarantine. That's what we're calling it, seminar teaching there in Santa Rosa. And I would really challenge you to make your way out there. Get on the website, Victory Outreach Santa Rosa website, and register your wife and yourself. And you know, we don't have all the answers.
No.
We don't have all the answers, but we do have some wisdom.
We actually got hit because of the invite. So.
Yeah, as soon as we got invited, our marriage got hit. But guess what? We bounced back.
Yeah.
We fasted, we prayed, and you know, we're moving forward. But if you know that happened with us, it only makes sense that it's happening to a lot more people, right? Yeah. And so come on out and hear what's going to be taking place this Saturday, Santa Rosa at 11 a.m. And so another thing that we have not yet seen the effects of, that we're going to see in the next year or two, is domestic abuse. Okay, kind of goes right along with what we were just talking about. Domestic abuse, no outlets, just pressure. So domestic abuse.
Just people, you know, they got away. They went to the bar to get away.
Right.
And now that they can't drink at the bar, now that they can't kick it with the homies, they're at home drinking.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the abuse as well is taking place.
It sure does. It sure does. So domestic abuse, we're going to be able to, I'm sure in the next year or two, see it. Child abuse is also something that we haven't seen, you know, the effects of yet, but it is definitely happening.
Well, there's some children that they enjoy going to school because they get away from being at home, you know, abusive, a home that's full of abuse, full of neglect.
Yeah.
They enjoy school.
Right.
There's some that their meals literally in school.
That's
powerful.
That's true.
They go home to empty refrigerators, and so
so that brings a lot of stress.
Yeah.
But then also those kids that maybe were being abused before would go to school, and that's where it would be discovered.
Yeah.
You know, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
And the kids would then voice it to a teacher, and the teacher would discover it. But now there's no one there to discover it.
So there's some of these children that are at home,
right?
You know,
so they're
left.
Right. So
Sad.
that's why I'm saying, where's the church? Marriages, right, are getting hit. Domestic violence, you know, is a thing that nobody has really, reported on. And then also child abuse. You know, those are three major things that when we do go back, you know, the church, we are going to have to deal with this. Yeah. You know, and
be prepared, be ready.
Be prepared, be ready.
Skilled in it. Yeah.
Right. People skills and, you know, things like that. How about the foster care system is overwhelmed right now, right? They don't know because they can't really release any kids to any homes, and because of obviously the pandemic. So it's just really, it's just backed up and overwhelmed. Again, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. How about depression? I mean, come on. I think I've had during this last 4 months, I've had a few moments. Be honest with you, if I could be transparent and honest, man, I've had a day or two along the way where just depression has really come in, and I really, just from pressure stacking and trying to be creative, right, out of energy, can't think, just locked in the house. Come on, somebody, right? Trying to get out, and then when you go out, I forgot my mask one time.
Well, you go out and then you're in a store, you don't know how to behave, so it's like that anxiety, that pressure.
Yeah.
Do I say hi? Do I smile?
Right.
So it's like learning how to live that way.
I got all the way to the store, forgot my mask, had to come back home, and by the time I got back home, I didn't feel like going, and it's just all this whole, right? It's crazy, man. And so let me just give you a few more here because we just got a few more minutes with you. And we're not trying to depress you here today. Leave you on a bummer. But this is a real thing, church, and it's our way of communicating to you how serious this thing is.
Well, I think too, it's such a perfect time to add. We have life groups, and they're doing great.
Right.
But now, really, it shouldn't just hinge on a few. It has to be all of us.
Right.
And so, as a church, with no walls,
right,
needs to begin to rise up and have life groups. Whether it's a Zoom, whether it's in person.
Right.
But the time is now. And so if you're watching, you're a leader. I really hope and encourage that you're feeling the stirring. To run a life group because we need more. We need more life groups.
It's time to rise and meet needs.
Yes.
It's time to rise and meet needs, and that's what life group leaders do. That's what leaders do. And don't wait for a title. Right now, titles are not being handed out right now. Right? There are no titles being handed out at the door right now. And as a matter of fact, you don't need a title, to meet a need and to pray for somebody. And if you know somebody whose marriage is on the rocks or getting hit, you don't need a title to reach out to them. You don't need to call Pastor Anthony or Sister Angelica or call another leader. You meet that need. You go and pray for them. Domestic violence, child abuse, foster care, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, depression, and the list goes on, and the list goes on, and the list goes on. And we'll share more with you at another time. But, these are just a few things. How about economic setback? People economically are being set back. They're not working. Unemployment is over, at least the last I heard, it was over 40 million.
Well, the ones, too, that weren't, they were maybe, middle income.
Right.
Now they find themselves in lines for
food.
For food handouts.
Right. So they're calling it the new poor.
The new poor.
It's a new poor now. And the new poor is that you're not homeless, but you don't really have food. And so you find yourself now where a year ago or 2 years ago, you would have never seen yourself in a food line, picking up food from a food bank or a local church that's giving out food, And so with that shame sometimes, that's another thing. But at the same time, those things begin to wear on you, and they wear on you, and they wear on you. Yeah. And so that would be called like food scarcity, And so, we wanted to be able to share with you just those few thoughts today, because, in the midst of all of this, where's the church?
Yeah.
Where is Victory Outreach Fremont? And
we have the answer.
We have the answer. We have the answer.
And that's Jesus.
And he's the answer for all these. And I have a lot more. I had like 16, 17 altogether. But it's important that we feel that today. That's what I want you to do. Midweek motivation, I felt it. Midweek motivation, man, it got me to think differently today. I'm going to start preparing. If anything, you hear anything, hear this, is I want you to start thinking marathon. Prepare for the marathon. Things are not going to go back overnight. We were with Pastor Al last night, like we mentioned earlier, and, one of the things came out was things may not get back to normal till another 18 months. Could you imagine that if this thing went a total of 18 months, 2 years? My God, that sounds like a marathon to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a marathon to me. However, in the midst of these setbacks, God is still, I feel, getting ready to pour out his spirit and his power like never before. But remember this, he's not going to just pour it out on anybody and anything and any church. He's looking for just a few. Remember, he never needed a large army in the Bible to ever accomplish the things he needed. He only needed Moses. He needed Moses just to lead the way. Yeah. He needed Joshua and Caleb just to lead the way. Gideon, 30,000. He said, you don't need 30,000. Just give me 300, right? He don't need a lot. So that's still his strategy today. He's just looking for a few people that are willing to say, God, I want your power. God, here I am. Use me. Lord, don't let me leave this altar the same. And I will do what you have called me to do. And powerful way to think about it. But God is still pouring out his spirit because he wants to pour out some revival.
Yes.
And so we appreciate you guys logging in today. I know we hit we hit you today with some uppercuts.
But on exciting news, don't forget to register me at
Here we go. There you go. Yeah.
Just search my name
and she'll try to win me today. Yeah. So praise the Lord. We love you guys. Listen, get into a life group tonight.
Yes.
Go to our website, go to our app, log into the groups, and you'll be able to find a group near you. Many of them are on Zoom. Some of them are in person. But if you feel, hey, I'm not good to go in person, join a Zoom. All the information is there. Call the leader. All the ID numbers there. All the stuff that you need is there. Don't get laxed now. Be a part. Stay connected. And we'll see you this weekend. And we love you guys so much.
God bless.
God bless.